Good morning all. This video is related to a writ of mandamus drafting. Okay, we all know what are the different kinds of writ. Writ of mandamus, writ of certiorari, writ of prohibition, writ of quo warranto, habeas corpus, writ of declaration, and we also having the combination writ, and we have emerging new concepts of writ of conferring mandamus. So there are different kinds of writ available. So this video is dealing with the writ of mandamus. So you all know what is the writ of mandamus. Writ of mandamus is a way of a direction. This example is dealing with we are asking for a direction. Initially we are asking for a direction. Thereafter, while the writ is filed and it is pending admission, there is a nature of the writ has been changed. That is, we are asking for one direction. Okay, but pending the writ application, there is order has been passed. So thereafter we have to file for a separate writ, or we can amend the earlier writ prior. Okay, initially it was filed under the writ of mandamus. Thereafter it is converted to the writ of certiorari mandamus. So this is the example of case what we can dealing with. So this is matter related to education. That means a student is trying to get admission before a military school, which is a Dehradun, where his application was considered and everything. He was permitted to go for a main examination, but he also stopped from the attending of Viva examination. Reason is that they are claiming that he is not from the state of Tamil Nadu. So that is the reason for which they are negating his appearance in the Viva. After representation, he was permitted to enter into the Viva, but his results were not declared. So pending non-declaration of such a result, the petitioner approached High Court. After the matter has been approached to the High Court, immediately they release the result. Okay, so now we are in a situation that earlier at the time of filing we have to go for a direction, but subsequently due to the change in nature we have to go for a certiorari mandamus. That is, we have to quash the order, then we have to ask for a direction. So this is the nature of the case before us. Okay, here in case, as you all know, the petitioner could be a minor, so minor cannot sue himself, so he can sue through his next friend. So here we are using the word minor. That is a petitioner who is a minor, represented by his father and natural guardian, his name. Okay, then we had given the address. So generally this is the jurisdiction. You all know it's a original jurisdiction vested with the High Court. That is where we are filing the case at the first instance, but this jurisdiction is conferred under Constitution of India, so we are called as a special original jurisdiction. Then we have to include all the names of the respondent. Okay, if you are missing any one of the respondent, then it may be bad, so you have to include all the necessary parties as a respondent. Okay, the fourth respondent is the one where the petitioner want to study. Actually, the fifth respondent is nothing but the Tamil Nadu PNC, the Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission, where the application is only has to forward through this TNPC office. Okay, all other persons where they are under the control only, the fourth respondent is functioning. Okay, the second respondent is added because here there is a denial that the petitioner is not belong to state of Tamil Nadu. Okay, so for the purpose we have added these parties as the respondent. So then all writ petition has to be filed in a affidavit petition format. Okay, so we have to state everything in the affidavit, then we have to say that for the reason stated in the accompanying affidavit. So there is a writ model we are following in High Court of Madras, but in some other courts there are affidavit to be filed, but all the amendments allegations were made only in the petition itself. But in High Court of Madras we are following this kind of format. Okay, then we are having the affidavit. We are stating this affidavit is sworn by the father, because the minor cannot sworn on his own for his case. Okay, so here we are describing the affidavit of the father. I am Gopal, son of so and so, Hindu, age of so and so years, residing at so and so place, and we are saying that having temporarily come down to Chennai for the purpose of this case, because this affidavit is sworn in Chennai. So we have to mention before me பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் சென்னை ஒரு அட்வொகேட் வாங்கணும்னாக்கா இந்த மாதிரி இருந்தால் மட்டும்தான் வாங்க முடியும், இந்த மாதிரி ஆக்சுவலாக போட முடியும். Usually the party will come to Chennai and they will sign and go. So that's the case. Okay, this is the general address column. Then we having the in the first prayer it always says that who are you. You have to say who are you, what is the connection with you in this case. So that what you have to say in the first paragraph. Always you have to keep in mind the first paragraph has to say who are you to this case. Okay, it depends on the situation. Here in this situation he is representing the minor, so we are describing it in the para 1. we are stating that I am the father and natural guardian of the petitioner herein, and I am well acquainted with the facts and circumstances of the case. Actually, we have to say that how the petitioner or how the applicant, how the person who's sworn in having knowledge of the case. Okay, so he has to declare what is the acquaintance of this case. So here he is stating that he is well acquainted with the facts of the case. Okay, then we are stating that the petitioner is his son and he is a minor, and so that we are asking the permission, that is leave of the court, for conduct and prosecute and defend the case on behalf of the minor son. So that we are asking for a nominal thing here. Okay, then we are going to describe, as I said earlier, it's a matter related to admission, so it is related to a place where the admission is sought for. Okay, so now we are narrating the what kind of education institution we are trying to get admission. That's the important case. Okay, so now we are describing with the who is the fourth respondent, what is the background. Okay, so here we are describing the fourth respondent, that is Rashtriya India Militant College, shortly we called as RAMC, which is originated so and so years. Okay, we are describing what's the importance of the institution. Okay, then we are narrating how we are getting into the admission there. So what is the general rule prescribed by the fourth respondent for its admission, so we are describing it. Okay, I submit that the college has a fully residential program for a period of 5 years from class 8 to class 12. Okay, they are following the CBSE pattern of education. Only the science stream is offered. Okay, we are describing, then we are giving the age qualification, that is the entry for only boys from the years of 11.5 years to 13 years of age. Okay, they are having admission in the two streams. One is January stream, and then another one is July terms. Okay, here we are applying for a July term. Okay, so now we described the institution. Now we'll come back to ourselves, because we stated what are the conditions for the admission. So now we'll come to the our part. We are describing what is our situation. We are claiming that what's the age of the petitioner, that is when he born, and what is his early history. Here in this case, the petitioner has already applied for it 2 times. All the other 2 times has been he is unsuccessful. Okay, then again there 2019 they are saying that he applied for the examination and the last date and so on, so he has submitted the application. Okay, as I said earlier, the application has to be forwarded through the fifth respondent. So we are stating how it is forwarded to the fourth respondent through the fifth respondent. So the para 5 is dealing with the how the application has been forwarded. Okay, thereafter in para 6 we are stating that the application has been accepted by the fourth respondent and hall ticket has been issued. Okay, once hall ticket has been issued, there is presumption that our application is accepted. Okay, then the so and so date the exam was conducted. Okay, so we are claiming that we are the only candidate we are selected through the written examination. Then we called for a viva, but on 5/4/2019 the viva has been fixed, but we have not the petitioner stating that he has not received any letter for viva voce. Okay, that is on 2/4/2019 they are receiving that they are not belong to the, that is the petitioner's father is not a resident of Tamil Nadu, hence they are rejecting the application. So this is the communication what they made. Okay, thereafter having we are unsatisfied with the act by the respondent, we are stating that I submit that such answer on the part of respondent to reject the application of the petitioner is too far-fetched and justified, especially when the petitioner was permitted to attend the examination held in December 2018 without any reservation. But thereafter they are asking to, without declaring this, they are holding a thing as he is not belong to Tamil Nadu. Okay, so then we are dealing with all those things. That is, we are now there is a issue of whether he is belong to Tamil Nadu or not, whether he is a resident of Tamil Nadu. So now we are going to describe that thing, that is fifth respondent, instead of taking note of hailing address of the petitioner, so petitioners பற்றிலாம் தெரிஞ்சிக்காம அதோட ஒரு அட்ரஸ் பற்றி நோட் பண்ணாமல், we are also, the petitioner father is given with the electoral card as well as ration card, everything in his name. The fifth respondent, ignoring all those things, he declared that he is not belong to a Tamil Nadu, that is 3 days prior to the viva voce examination. Okay, at least he might have given intimated it earlier so that he might have an opportunity to explain his stand. But without giving any opportunity to explain his stand, the respondent intimated within a short notice. So that's why reason the petitioner is not able to address his grievance. Then we are stating that after making the effort, the petitioner has been permitted to attend the Vivavos, but still he was permitted to attend the Vivavos, but the results were not published. So that is our main grievance. Okay, they have not disclosed the Viva results. So that is our grievance. We are stating that persistent attempt made by the petitioner convinced the mind of the respondent, and the petitioner was permitted to attend the Vivavos on so and so date. However, the respondent has not chosen to communicate the result of the Viva test till date. That is, till date of filing this application, they have not communicated the Vivavos result. So for which we are also making letter to the respondent to disclose the result. Okay, even then the letter communication, what are the communications we have made which are not fruitful. So we are stating that in turn the second respondent sent a communication letter so and so to the fourth respondent, here intimating that the Vivavos result of the petitioner was not declared till date, and that the result may be sent directly to the petitioner. The petitioner and his father had also sent communication to third respondent on so and so date respectively. So we are stating how much struggle we are facing before approaching the court. So as we all know, Article 226 gives the power of the court to entertain a writ of discretionary nature. If the petitioner availed all kind of relief, even such relief is not having fruitful result, then he can approach 226. So before approaching the this honorable court, we are stating that what are the communications, what are the efforts we have done, we are describing it all, and what are the results. If anything is there, we have to mention. If the result is not clear, then we have to approach. We have to narrate everything. We have to narrate what is all happening in the sequential order. As I said earlier, we have to narrate everything in a chronological order. Then we are stating that we are going for an emergency situation, because admission is proceeded. Exam முடிஞ்சு, written exam முடிஞ்சது, Vivavos முடிஞ்சு, result declare பண்ணல, but the classes for the so and so class has been commenced. Okay, so that is the urgency we need to go. Suppose the writ petition is not disposed earlier, or the order has been passed in this writ petition, without this we cannot go for a joining of the course. So we have to be vigilant, and we have to be stated that what are the actual grievances to the petitioner. Now we are stating that the petitioner submitted the classes for so and so has been started on so and so date. Even if he is admitted, already class start ஆயிடுச்சு, இப்போ அட்மிட் பண்ணால் கூட ஒரு மாதம் பிஹைண்ட் ஆகிடும். சப்போஸ் இது விஷயத்து வந்து ரொம்ப லேட்டாக, சப்போஸ் ஒரு 6 months ஆகுது ரெட் பெட்டிஷன் முடியுது அப்படின்னாக்க, யூ ஆல் நோ வாட் வில் பி த ஹேப்பன் டு த ஸ்டூடெண்ட். ஸோ ஹி மைட் லாஸ் ஹிஸ் அகாடமிக் செஷன். ஓகே, ஸோ வி ஆர் ஸ்டேட்டிங் தட் we are giving the confidence to the court that even we lack with the 1 month, so the petitioner, that is the person who is warning, அவரோட சன் வந்து அது கோப் அப் பண்ணிக்குவார்னு சொல்லிட்டு we are giving assurance to the court. Okay, then we'll come to the point here. The petitioner, as I said earlier, he has already applied for 2 terms. Now it is his 3rd term. Okay, this shows what is the interest of the petitioner to pursue the studies with the 4th respondent. So we are narrating the story and all, so that we are not simply applied for it. With the faith and confidence and persistent attempt, we are making to get admission in the seat. So the publishing of result is very essential at the earliest. Okay, if they are having a question whether he belongs to Tamil Nadu or not, they might have asked for it without asking any document to prove his residency status. They simply unilaterally they are taking decisions, and they are dealing that he is not belong to Tamil Nadu. So there is a problem here in this present situation.